committed genocide against Christians. Most people don't even know that. It did more efficiently than the Nazis did. But it's not a defense of Hitler, of course.
And said, I'm really sorry I called you Hitler. Like, I didn't mean it.
A lot of people think, well, then Hitler must be great. Because if you're calling me Hitler and I'm not, well, then Hitler must be good. And stuff for calling me a Nazi years ago.
Hitler, which, I'm against Hitler, okay, but like...
And I don't mean the pop anti-Hitler stuff, but the real things.
And you don't have to go right to I love Hitler, right?
A lot of them go, well, you know what? I do like Hitler then.
Just for the record, very anti-Hitler. But the effect was to destroy like the most beautiful civilization ever created by far. And about Ukraine's sacred borders, its territorial integrity, standing up for democracy, fighting Putin, Hitler, or whatever.
And you're a Nazi? Let's not do it again. Nazi! Immediately call me.
Basically, they're calling me a Nazi, of course.
One can make the argument we should have sided with Hitler and fought Stalin. Because I was now a Nazi,
It's shut up Nazi, okay? And
like freak, some internet freak, hater, Nazi, whatever. I'm not.
Just preserve our fundamental national interests. Isolationist, Nazi, anti-Semite. Anyone who doesn't hate him vehemently enough as a Nazi or something. I just pushed out, but maligned.
Yeah.
Attacked, destroyed. Nazis as hate or what, Yeah, he's not a Holocaust denier or whatever that is. And then you have to like it and you're a Nazi if you don't like it. I was at CNN and boy, man, they called me a Nazi, What? Not a defense of Hitler, who was evil.
Yeah.
Or he's Hitler. And Ukraine is like the backstop against his expansionism. And we need to fight Russia. And Germany's had 100 years of foreign troops on its soil. And no one responsible for the atrocities of the Nazi regime is still alive. And so maybe you just sort of let the Germans be a country again.
We subsidized it. We pushed it.
Well, some Nazis are okay as long as, they're doing the bidding of the CIA.
Stop apologizing for being German. And Hitler obviously overreached and destroyed everything, put everything at risk.
It's just through threats, like, shut up.
Yep.
You're a bad person for saying that. You're a Nazi. It's like Great Britain's just said that they're signing some 100-year defense deal with Ukraine. It's insane. Because the Russians are subhuman.
Exactly. But hold on, it gets worse.
That's like full Nazi propaganda.
No protection of Ukraine, being beaten very often by SBU, that's their secret police, wearing death masks with Nazi insignias.
Rhetoric about Russia, where Putin is daily described as Hitler. So can you, the Biden administration imposed the Green New Deal on Germany with high explosives by blowing up Nord Stream. So
I think it was white men, actually. They're the ones who beat Hitler. So why don't you shut up, Tubby?
So against an illegal invasion by Russia.
So this is like why we support Stalin against Hitler, because
worried that the United States, NATO, the Biden administration, was behind the sabotage of Nord Stream. Right. Things he apparently said in his debriefs was he believed that Hitler was being influenced by demonic spirits.
Because she describes how the Jewish councils participated with the Nazis.
The Soviets were defeating Germany largely on their own, where they gave away a massive amount of Russia to Germany in order to get peace at that point. And what does the United States do with
this? Forced to say that Putin invaded Ukraine simply because suddenly he became this psychotic, evil Hitler-type figure.
The only adult is Vladimir Putin. This person we've been told is Hitler and deranged, crazy.
And we let the Soviets do the bulk of the fighting.
Exactly.
And we put Germany first. Why?
Because see the American medical establishment, which I think thinks of itself as anti-Nazi, it's weird to see them embrace Nazi eugenics policy. Because, we spend a lot of time 80 years later talking about the Nazis, and obviously the Nazis are bad. Are you calling me a Nazi? Oh, no.
You were denounced as like a Nazi for worrying about nuclear war.
Britain won 2 world wars in a row. And if anything, it's more degraded than Germany. So Germany is because totally self-hating place. It's a husk.
Yeah.
It's depressing as hell, though.
Really, since the Second World War, everybody's the new Hitler, right? It's the British Empire threatened by the rise of a powerful continental power like Germany. And Churchill wanted a war. He wanted to fight Germany. And throughout that summer, Adolf Hitler is firing off radio broadcasts, giving speeches, literally sending planes over to drop leaflets over London and other British cities, trying to get them. As soon as that war's wrapped up on the German side, Hitler starts firing off peace proposals to Britain and France because they had already declared war. He didn't expect them to declare war, actually.
To a place like Canada where they're just like, well, getting to the exact same place that Germany got to in 1933, where if you're useless, we're going to kill you, which they think. By the way, that's the one crime, we spent a lot of time talking about the crimes of the Nazis, which is fine. But I'm not comparing anyone to the Nazis. I hate Nazi references in general, but it's not to make everything a Nazi reference. I'd be like, Hitler wore those shoes. A lot of people are saying that you're like Hitler. Can you explain those shoes? Hitler wore exactly the same shoes, and you're like, I've got nothing to do with Hitler. Did it bother you when they called you a Nazi or white supremacist, or when they threw these slurs at you?
The Democrats have been moving toward the toward a sort of Nazi-type solution.
I don't care what they think of me. They call me a Nazi all the time, which I'm not. So
to build this identity upon some false heroes who collaborated with Hitler. Poland turned out to be uncompromising, and Hitler had nothing to do but start implementing his plans with Poland. But Hitler asked them to give it amicably, but they refused.
Of course.
Still, they collaborated with Hitler, and Hitler offered Poland peace and a treaty of friendship.
And why have the Poles emerged? Did they emerge from the 20th century with their self-respect intact, whereas Great Britain, obviously Germany, all of Western Europe, they hated themselves by the end, but the Poles didn't. Why?